I'm here in the temporary gallery, the Susan McCharles Gallery, with artist Eila Duncalfe. If you're not familiar, she has an exhibit in with the Samuel Museum right now. Beautiful collection of vibrant paintings from her collection, Genuine Raw Inspiration, I believe it's called. We've had a lot of comments, lots of likes. Some of her paintings have even sold. They are all for sale if you want to check out our Facebook or our Instagram page at Samuel Museum. So I have her in today. She agreed to come in, and she was generous enough to bring some of her own tools to show us what she uses to create these really beautiful paintings. So Eila, if you would like to talk about these tools that you have here.
Hello. I've been painting for about 20 years. I started after my family left home. They finished their schooling and went on to have their own lives. So I had to find something to occupy my time. So this is what I got into, was painting. And we have several different brushes. These are the rigger brushes that are used for the background or their first paintings. The paint that you put down is there for heavy duty work. We have some of the chisel edges, which is good for flowers and leaves, that kind of work. The filbert brush is great for doing flowers with. It's got rounded edges.
I think I have one of those. I never knew what they were for or what they were called. I never would have guessed it's called a filbert brush.
This is also, these are hog hair brushes, these for the heavy duty ones, and this one too is a filbert one. You can get them any shapes and sizes and stuff. Fan brush, I rarely use, but sometimes I do use for grasses and bushes along the edge of the forest.
It makes those tiny little strokes, I guess. You just use it very lightly.
Get the shapes in there.
Yeah.
This is a palette knife that I use for mixing paints. You just mix it like that, or scooping it out of the jars.
Mm-hmm.
I have liner brushes, some of the smaller brushes to do the finer work.
Wow, that's a tiny little brush. Oh my goodness. That almost looks like a nail art brush.
This is an old toothbrush that comes in handy for doing the sprinkling of, just to get debris around on it. And these is for doing the skies and just for the
like clouds and that kind of stuff?
Yes, for
cool.
I use these are used daily whenever I'm not painting. I use them all the time too. And that's about it for my brushes. There are many sizes. They got all the, I shouldn't say all have long handles, but the long handles are certainly there for a good reason, is so you don't get too close to your work and you can actually see what you're doing. Charcoal is a very handy tool to have too for any of the sketching.
Oh, so you would use the charcoal before you add the paint kind of thing?
You can put it on and put the paint on after, and then you can erase any charcoal off.
With a regular eraser? Or is there a special charcoal eraser?
No, the charcoal is erased off with just a wet
paper
towel.
No idea.
That's why I have paper towels here. They come in real handy for cleaning your brushes and just for cleanup.
Yeah.
This is the camera I use. I use probably a third of my time for being out taking pictures for my paintings.
Looks expensive.
Nothing too special about it. This is just an ordinary spray bottle that's used for moistening any of the canvas up. It makes it easier for the paint to go on and for your brush to slip over. I have a mister bottle that I use too. This is just a fine mist, and that keeps your paint moist because sometimes it's too hot, too dry in the house to keep things moist.
So higher humidity makes it easier to paint, as you said?
Yes, it makes your brush slip, paint move. This is my apron. Something I've have lacked to use in many of paintings because every shirt of mine seems to have paint on it. This is a hand soap that you can buy for cleaning paint brushes, but also a mild dish soap will work.
I've always used dish soap. I never heard of an actual painting.
I just take the bar soap and put it in a container like this, and that's where it stays to wash my brushes. It's actually pretty handy. That water you gotta have. I usually have a couple tubes of water with me.
Get close up like that.
And I always have a small pliers around to open up the paint containers because some of them just stick too hard. Eyebrow plucker to pull any of the little bristles off.
Oh, I guess because if you're
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes you can just flip it off. And this is where I do put the paint. I usually put paper towels, fold 3-4 layers of paper towels in here, wet it, and then I put the palette paper on top of that, and it'll keep your paints moist. This is the palette paper. This is made to fit inside of that, so it's kind of greasy on the top or waxy on the top, and it absorbs moisture here, so it keeps the paints moist, and they'll stay quite well in a container, a sealed container. They will get moldy every now and again.
Really? So it will mold before it dries up if you use it like that?
Quite well, depends how well you have your seal down on it.
So yeah, that makes sense.
But yes, this is tracing paper. I use an awful lot of tracing paper because I do sketches. I also blow up photos. I use my photos and just trace them.
Right.
Not all the time. I do a fair bit of sketching, and then I also do just shaping as I paint. I've done some beautiful animals just shaping. I was actually surprised myself. These are the kind of photos that I use. They seem to work quite well for...
Oh, is that for glimmering, what's that called? Glimmering sunlight, I think it's called?
Yes,
Yeah.
there were several pictures taken of that, and there's just several. Like there's the pickerel.
Oh, nice.
But I have thousands of paintings or photos that I use for my pictures. This is the train under Channing.
Yeah, these are starting to look a little familiar.
This is a jackfish that was spawning in a creek that I snuck a picture of her when she wasn't looking at me.
Beautiful. Are you turning any of these into paintings right now?
Not quite yet, but
The potential is there.
there certainly is. But like I said, I spend an awful time with the camera to take pictures. That was just a touch of what I have. I have several of the large animals, moose. I know I have 100 or more pictures of moose that I myself have taken.
I was just going to ask, these are all photos that you've personally taken?
Oh
on yours?
yes, there are actually very few that other people. I guess that's it, you know.
You're a bit of a photographer as well as a painter, hey?
Well, it's enjoyable because you're switching two different hobbies and working it into one, which is works for me.
That's what they say.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it
go
gets
ahead.
me out in the bush.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm always going out in the old gravel quarries. One painting, where is it?
Oh, I see. I think it's
Yeah.
directly behind you. We can
Okay.
actually, you know what, let me see. You can
That
see.
was a painting that I go and spend time out there. That's along the Red Deer River, where I've seen moose and sandhill cranes,
Yeah.
coyotes, eagles. There's lots of wildlife out there. The killdeer nest, the one there was taken out in a quarry too.
You can get a close-up of that there. This is from the really large painting, yeah. Gorgeous girls walk by the lake, I believe it's called.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I actually really like that gravel quarry one. I think in one of the live streams I mentioned how I really like in your paintings, even the most nondescript little things, you seem to make pop. You know, like the gravel quarry, who looks at a gravel quarry and thinks like, oh wow, that's so beautiful. But that's what I think when I look at the painting.
Well, I think most people would look at a gravel quarry as kind of a blah place to go into, but you'd be surprised what you see in those kind of places. And that was one that was an old one where the trees are growing in closer to it, and the landscape is starting to form back as was.
Mm-hmm.
But it has the potholes with the water and stuff where you can, I've seen taken snow pictures of snow geese out along the quarries too, where they just seem to be flying, going back south, and they just land because they see a pothole and a green beside it. So
that'll work.
That works for them.
That'll do.
And I was walking right in amongst them one time taking pictures. It's surprising how close you can get to wildlife as long as you take your time and do it slowly.
And you're respectful, right?
Yes.
That's what I was just going to say with your photography, that with that comes an immense amount of skill set depending on your level, but in order to capture pictures, like we just shown the pictures that you brought, they're very good, you know, and it's really cool to see how sometimes talents intermingle. Mm-hmm. I really enjoy that, but thank you very much for coming in and doing this for us. It's really awesome. Everyone really loves it, and the comments that you're getting on your paintings are incredible. So hopefully we have more people come in soon. We're open now, so that's fantastic.
You're open until what time?
We're open. We're open 7 days a week, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m.